know every road game is going to be a tough one. We had a pretty serious injury in the first quarter, and you never know how people are going to respond, having seen a player go down. But I'm really proud of our effort. We got to do a better job putting the ball in the hoop, right? Felt like we had a lot more attempts than them. But Fritz Marion is a really good team. They're a 21 team from last year, so just really, really proud of our effort. And Kamari Thompson is she's a great player. Gets her hand on so many rebounds. Maya Waswa, but probably the one who stepped up the most, especially late, was Shantiana Tillman. I know she missed that last free throw, but just she's so resilient and so gritty, and we needed all of it tonight. Our press is really good for us. Half-court defense, we got to tighten up, definitely keep them off the boards. And we were playing without our starting point guard, who's started for us every game since she's been here for 3 years. So we just got to get her back and get our team healthy, and one game at a time, but super proud of them. Happy to be 1-0.
I'm disappointed. I felt like the conversation we just had was really more about how we handle the highs and lows of a game. You know, I thought that we competed pretty well in the first half. We knew, we've seen Coker the last 4 years. We knew their style, very aggressive offensively. They run a lot of dribble drive type offense. We knew they were going to look to turn the corner and get downhill. We've been spending a lot of time working on playing in gaps, playing a little bit back off the ball, getting in gaps, making sure we were playing like a team defense where we weren't allowing them to get all the way downhill. So I think at the end of the day, we allowed them to dictate tempo, and I think they took us out of a lot of what we wanted to do. And to me, that comes back to us needing to be more disciplined and needing maybe to buy in a little bit more to what we're doing. They obviously were really good at what they did, and I don't think we competed as well as we needed to for 40 minutes, just in terms of wanting to do the things that we do well. I think we let them do a little bit too much of what they did well. Credit to them. Upperclassmen on their team that I think really kind of took control and led very well. And we've got to work on that. We've got to make sure that we're getting some of that, particularly in tough moments. We've got to make sure that we're getting leadership from the right people in the right places. I think at the end of the day, we weren't able to keep them out of the paint. Bottom line, like our two defense is really kind of a sagging gap type defense. So we tried to use some of that. We actually even fell back even more and went to some 2-3 zone and tried to use that to clog the lane up. But at the end of the day, I thought that a couple things. I thought we didn't do as good enough job as we needed to do in the half court. But I thought we also made some mistakes with regard to our decision making offensively. I thought some of the quick shots that we took when we came out of their pressure led to transition opportunities for them. We talked about and knew that Coker wants to get out and run. They're very good in transition. And we talked before the game about the fact that we needed to make sure that our decision making was good and that we didn't take bad shots, because bad shots turn into transition opportunities. I thought we did a little bit too much of that tonight and gave them a little bit too many opportunities to score in transition as well. I'm going to credit Coker for that. I thought they did a really good job in their defensive scheme. We knew we were going to see some pressure. And while I thought the initial pressure we handled okay, it sped us up. Even with our own pressure, we talk about the fact that pressure can do 3 things. It'll speed you up, it'll slow you down, it'll turn you over. And I thought even when we weren't necessarily turning the ball over against their press, we were speeding up. We were playing a lot faster than we normally want to play. And that to me is as big as a turnover sometimes. I think we've got to do a better job. To me, the question about converting on their turnovers comes back to decision making. I thought that there were some times when we turned them over, or we stepped into a passing lane and we took off and then just kind of threw up the first available shot, as opposed to really looking to find the best look that we might have been able to get. So I think those are things that we'll continue to work on. We'll continue to talk about as a team. At the end of the day, though, I just think that this came back to about that 5 or 6 minutes in the third quarter where we acted like we didn't want to compete. And I thought once we shook ourselves out of that and began to compete, we finished the game pretty well. But I think that 8 to maybe 10-point lead that we gave up in the third quarter, I think really kind of dogged us a little bit, and obviously ended up losing a 2-point game. You realize how valuable those minutes were. She is an amazing competitor. Like when you add talent to that level of competitiveness, you've got a kid like that, and that's exciting. Obviously, as a freshman in her first college game, She just, she got to that point even when and I said to the team at one point, we got a freshman out here kind of leading the way, kind of showing us that we don't have to quit right now just because we're down 6 or 8 or whatever the case might be. Her talent is obvious. She is a tremendous ball handler. She's fearless, but she's a competitor, and I think that's going to take her a long way. She's somebody, obviously, that we're looking forward to having around for a long time and building around her, and obviously, expecting her to lead us, in the years to come. So we're super excited about her. I think the best is yet to come for her. She's just getting started.